So I'm going to do something dead easy. It's no minion, unfortunately, but I'll be your minion today, Lorraine. Although not yellow. I won't be yellow. So I'm going to do a rustic pear tart. So it's dead easy. It's shop bought pastry if you want. It's 2 pears. That's all it is. So it's well priced and easy to make.
Sounds great.
So the first thing I'm going to do is put a baking sheet into the oven because it needs to get really hot. Because there's going to be fruit on top of the pastry. You don't want the old proverbial soggy bottom, so you've got to get that nice and hot in there.
Right.
So that's that. Secondly, I'm going to poach some pears. So just 2 pears. I peeled 4 because I had plenty of time, but we only need 2.
Right.
So I'm going to pop those into a pan with some pear cider. Now, I love pear cider. It's one of my favourite things to drink.
Pear cider?
By the bike sheds, just out the bottle. But no, you can use apple cider if you want, or just use sugar syrup. But the pear cider, I think, just helps to make it taste even more peary. And you really want to amplify the flavour of the pears. So in with the pear cider, in with some just white caster sugar in there, all over the hob. And then I'm going to put some bay leaves in because these give a really sort of wintry, spicy, they're gorgeous, really lovely flavour. It's just quite fruity. So I'm going to rip those so that you get the flavour, rip them open, and then pop those in. And it's really just a case of bringing that to a simmer, let it simmer 15 minutes. And then let it cool for 5 minutes in the syrup because that'll really amplify the flavour. And that syrup is not going to go to waste because I'm going to reduce it down and use it to glaze the pears.
Ah, there's one you have done earlier.
And here's one I did earlier.
It looks great, doesn't it?
They're gorgeous. You could actually eat them like this.
Oh, that'd be good.
You could, with some ice cream. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to chop those up. So I'm going to top and tail them. Now, I never bother to core pears because I always find that the cores just cook down and go away. You can pop a few seeds out or pips out if you want to. But this is a really great recipe. You can do it with apples. If you're using apples, just use apple cider rather than pear.
Lovely.
Any sort of firm fruit would work well. If you're going to use apricots or something, you could, but you don't need to poach them because they're already soft.
Oh, okay.
But it's such a great thing. And blackberry goes great with this as well with the pears. Blackberry, pear and bay is lovely. And of course you can serve it with cream or custard. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking these pears out, topping the tail in them, and cutting each one into 8 strips. So I'm going to have about 16 strips of pear in total. So it's just into quarters and then cut those in half as well. And I just use shop-bought pastry unashamedly for this.
Why not?
Exactly.
It's okay.
It's good. It's fine. It's good stuff.
If you say it's okay, it's definitely okay.
Well, it's absolutely fine. And you know what? Sometimes it's nice to have the skill of baking pastry and making pastry, but at the end of the day, if you're out feeding your family, that's all that matters. And if that means using shop-bought pastry, then so be it. Don't be ashamed.
Much quicker and easier.
Exactly, much quicker and easier. So I'm going to reduce only 100 ml of that down, but the rest you can use in mulled cider or mulled wine, anything like that. You can use it into a drink, or even with a bit of vodka for Christmas cocktails. Be perfect in my
You're talking my language.
I'm talking your language.
You really are.
So shop-bought pastry. I'm just going to arrange these pears, just leaving a bit at the top and the bottom and the sides. So I'm going to arrange these pears just in a line, sort of using the fat side there, so alternate where the fat sides of the pears go, the fat end of the pear. And just going to arrange these on.
This is good, it's good and easy, isn't it?
It is. In France they call it a galette rustique.
A galette rustique. That sounds really posh and good, I like
posh.
That.
It says, but I just like a rustic tart, I call it, because it's... And the nice thing about it is you get to see what's in it. Sometimes you don't know what's going to be in there, which is never a bad surprise, but it's always nice to know what you're going to bite into.
Indeed.
So, but like I say, apples or anything will do well. And you don't need to be as neat as I'm doing, but I'm on the telly, I've got to do it properly.
You have, and it does look better.
It does look better, but even if you're a bit slapdash, then that's all right, we can forgive that. So I'm going to arrange these on here like this, and I'm going to sprinkle on some flaked almonds before it goes into the oven.
Okay.
I'm going to fold the edges over, which I'll quickly have just have time to do that. So you fold the edges up over the fruits like this, leaving the fruits on show.
I'm
going to sprinkle on some almonds and get it in the oven, and when it comes out I'm going to glaze it with the reduced syrup, which I've reduced down to sort of like a warm honey consistency. So when the tart comes out the oven, when it's hot, you glaze it with some hot syrup.